In a small, quiet, New England town, nestled away from the bustling world, lived Zarin, a young and shy 23-year-old with a secret. Zarin had always struggled with food, using it as a way to cope with her overwhelming social anxiety. Her meals provided comfort in a world that seemed far too daunting for her fragile confidence. Zarin had no friends. Zarin had no family. Well, she had a family, technically. But she hadn't spoken to them in many years. She had fled her small, traditional town in India to get away from very controlling parents and a community that she felt kept her stuck in the past. And being that she was an only child, she had no siblings to confide in and was alone. Zarin always felt alone. One evening, Zarin stumbled upon an online community dedicated to mukbang videos. These videos showcased individuals indulging in enormous feasts, often gorging themselves on excessive amounts of food while engaging with their viewers. Zarin watched in fascination as these content creators basked in the attention, and a thought began to form in her mind. With trepidation, Zarin decided to start her own mukbang channel. She set up her camera, her heart pounding with anxiety, and took her first bite on camera. At first, she was cautious, her portions small, her eating slow. But the more she filmed, the more daring she became. As the months passed, Zarin's mukbang channel began to gain a cult following. Her once slender figure gradually expanded as she tackled increasingly larger meals. Her viewers were captivated by her transformation, and the more weight she gained, the more her popularity soared. Zarin's online persona was confident and outgoing, the opposite of her real-life self. She reveled in the attention, the praise, and the adoration of her fans. But as the numbers grew, so did her insatiable appetite. She found herself constantly planning her next video, her mind consumed by thoughts of what extravagant meal she would devour next. Her eating challenges became more grotesque, her portions more obscene, and her audience loved it. They cheered her on as she tackled the most gargantuan meals imaginable, her face flushed with exertion, her eyes glazed over with gluttony. Zarin's transformation was astonishing. She had started out as a shy, introverted girl, but her online persona was brimming with confidence. Her once thin, petite frame was now buried beneath layers of excess weight. Her once beautiful, long locks were now thinner and shorter as her hair was falling out due to malnutrition. Her fans admired her dedication to her craft, but few realized the dark truth that lurked behind the camera. Zarin's obsession with her mukbang channel grew, consuming her every waking moment. Her life was reduced to a cycle of eating, filming, and editing. She couldn't remember the last time she'd left her house, her world confined to the four walls that surrounded her. One fateful night, Zarin decided to take on her greatest challenge yet, a mountain of greasy fast food that towered over her. The live stream began, and her viewers eagerly watched as she took her first bite. But this time was different. This time, there was a manic desperation in her eyes, a hunger that seemed insatiable. She devoured the food with reckless abandon, sauce smeared across her face, her breathing labored. The chat exploded with comments of concern, but Zarin paid no attention. Her body was pushed to the brink as she devoured the meal, her stomach groaning in protest. Then, it happened. A sickening, tearing sound filled the room, and Zarin's eyes widened in shock. Her stomach had reached its breaking point. With a deafening explosion, her abdomen burst open, spraying a grotesque mixture of food and gore across the room. The live stream descended into chaos as horrified viewers watched in disbelief. Zarin's lifeless body slumped forward, her eyes vacant, her once vibrant online persona extinguished forever. The chat was filled with a barrage of horrified emojis and frantic messages as her audience grappled with the horrifying spectacle they had just witnessed. The news of Zarin's gruesome demise spread like wildfire across the internet. Her fans were left in shock, unable to comprehend the tragic end of the mukbang sensation they had admired and adored. Zarin's story became a cautionary tale, a chilling reminder of the dangers that could lurk behind the allure of online fame. As the online world moved on to the next sensation, Zarin's videos remained, a haunting testament to the girl who had been consumed by her own appetite, forever immortalized in the darkest corners of the internet.
I never thought I'd find myself in this situation. My name is Paul, a 35-year-old guy from South Africa, living in the bustling and expensive city of New York. Yes, pretty far from home. And my life was about to take a horrifying twist. It all started when I lost my job, leaving me desperate to find a way to make ends meet. I was drowning in the quicksand of unemployment. My days were spent sending out letters, hoping for a lifeline, but the world had turned its back on me. Little did I know that the path I'd choose next would lead me to the darkest, most chilling experience of my life. One evening, as I wallowed in self-pity and uncertainty, my friends gathered around me. They encouraged me, telling me I had a gift for cooking, and that I should share it with the world. Paul, they said, why not start a mukbang channel on YouTube? People love watching others eat delicious food. I mean, people go crazy over it. At first, I was skeptical. I mean, I'd seen those mukbang videos with people gorging on enormous amounts of food, but it seemed like a bizarre way to make a living. But with no other options and admitting I was a great cook, I decided to give it a shot. I figured, what do I have to lose? I could put my talents to use doing something I actually enjoyed, I reasoned. So, I created my YouTube channel, All South African Mukbang Adventure. My friends helped me set up my camera, lights, and microphone, and I prepared a delectable spread of traditional South African dishes. As I took my first bite on camera, I had no idea that this decision would lead to a series of terrifying events. The initial response was overwhelming. People loved my charm and the way I described each dish, the flavors dancing on my tongue. My fans marveled, my subscriber count skyrocketed, and my videos started racking up thousands of views. It was exhilarating, but then that's when the eerie messages began. Late one night, I noticed a comment that chilled my blood. It was from a user named HungrySpectre666. The message was cryptic, saying, "I'm hungry for more than just your food, Paul." I tried to dismiss it as some random internet creep, but as the days went by, the messages became increasingly unsettling. One evening, while filming a mukbang video, I heard a faint whisper behind me. My heart raced as I turned to see nothing but an empty room. I blamed it on my imagination, but then, during editing, I heard it again, a sinister, raspy voice saying, "Feed me, Paul." The voice sent shivers through my entire body, and I couldn't explain it away this time. As the weeks went by, the incidents escalated. I started experiencing inexplicable phenomena during my mukbang recordings. Plates would move on their own, utensils would fall off the table, and my food would occasionally vanish right before my eyes. It was as if some malevolent force was trying to disrupt my channel. I decided to confide in my friends, who had encouraged me to start this venture. They thought I was exaggerating or suffering from sleep deprivation due to the late-night recording sessions. But I knew something sinister was afoot. One critical night, while filming a fan favorite, historically popular mukbang episode, I saw a shadowy figure lurking behind me in the reflection of my computer screen. My heart pounded in my chest as I slowly turned around, but there was nothing there. I couldn't continue filming that night, I was too shaken. Determined to uncover the truth, I delved into the dark history of mukbang videos. I discovered a legend about the cursed mukbang eater who had met a gruesome end after becoming consumed by her insatiable hunger. Some said her vengeful spirit now haunted those who dared to follow in her footsteps. Terrified and desperate, I turned to a local psychic for help. She sensed an evil presence attached to me, one that hungered for more than just food. She conducted a cleansing ritual, but it only seemed to enrage the entity further. The hauntings escalated, and my life spiraled into a nightmarish existence. Sleepless nights, unexplained noises, and a constant feeling of dread became my new reality. I was no longer in control of my own life, it seemed the malevolent spirit was. One night, as I sat down to record another mukbang, the entity revealed its true form. It materialized before me, a grotesque, emaciated figure with hollow eyes that burned with an insatiable hunger. It lunged at me, its bony fingers reaching for my throat. I fought for my life, screaming for help, but no one came. In the end, it was my love for cooking that saved me. I grabbed the hot, oily pan from the stove and swung it at the entity. It shrieked in agony and vanished into thin air, leaving a foul stench of decay in its wake. Food and greed had taken that mukbanger's life, and now food had put the now creature back into the abyss of the afterlife. I quit my mukbang channel that very night, vowing never to return to that horrifying world again. My friends tried to convince me that it was all in my head, but I knew the truth. Some hungers are too dark and insatiable to ever be satisfied, and I had come face to face with one of them. Now, as I try to piece my life back together, I can't help but wonder if my mukbang venture was worth the price I paid. The scarred memories and lingering fear are a constant reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of something as innocent as a YouTube channel. So, if you ever decide to venture into the world of mukbang, remember my story, and be wary of the ravenous spirits that may be lurking in the shadows, waiting to consume more than just your food.